All right.
I like that re-edit. That was creepy.
Yeah. Hey, so welcome everyone. So it's been a long time since I last streamed. So today, I'm with my comic book friends. Okay, we are actually creating comic together, and today we also have my friends. He have his new campaign going on. Now this word I'm not good at pronouncing, so please pardon me. NOSFERATU, right?
Yep.
Now, yeah, and with us is of course my other friend Nate. The one on top is a Narwhal. So he's launching this campaign. So let me just change the orientation just a little bit. And yeah, so those for those my viewers who's from the Nerf modding community. Yeah, so today we're going to talk a little bit of comic and just to let show you all something first. Hold on, let me change the orientation as well. So this is my friends campaign, and of course, I'm also doing one that is with them on a Nerf inspired kind of comic book itself. So you can see all these like the flat that I did, one of the flat that I did.
Nice. Looking good.
Yeah, right. So today we're going to talk about this campaign, my friends campaign. Now, well, all right. So actually I prepared a list of questions. Although I know you, but I still prepared a list of questions. So today we're gonna be serious again. I'm not gonna go joke around. I'm gonna be serious and interrogate you with the help of my trusted friend Nate. Nate, don't go soft on him. We must go hard on him. We are too kind to him. Yes. Come now, just do a quick rundown on the this campaign of yours, because this is like the what do you call it, the not open source. Open source is for programming. What
Oh
do you
yeah,
call
like
this, the
public domain.
public domain? Yes,
Yeah.
public domain property. Come, let's start, man.
Yeah. So it's an adaptation of the silent film, which came out 100 years ago, in 1922. And when that came out, it was directed by a German guy named F.W. Murnau. He just ripped off Dracula, and then he got sued. Bram Stoker was dead, but his widow wasn't, and she sued him, and he lost. So they were ordered to destroy all the prints of the film, but one of them got smuggled out and kind of survived. So now it's just on YouTube, and it's for free. I had the idea a long time ago of when I started this. It was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, maybe I could do something where I'm not really working off a script, where just like a little bit experimental. Like, what's a comic if there is no script? I'm like, well, I could adapt, kind of, because I wouldn't have to write anything, is part of why I wanted to do that. And I was like, I could adapt a silent film. So I watched a couple of them, and I liked this one the best. And so I was like, it actually would maybe work. And there's a few kind of experimental things that came out of it, like it's one thing is that as a book, I think it's oddly more accessible than the movie, which I wasn't sure going in if it would even work, but it's like it's maybe a 40-minute read or so. The movie's a 90-minute movie, and it's honestly for the modern generation they would consider it boring of 90 minutes. Um, and so yeah, like it's condensing that story into where they're more controlling the pace just by turning the pages, and that kind of reinvigorates the story. So hopefully it might get introduced to a new audience even.
So it's 90 minutes movie. Is it like 1 minute per page?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
yeah, it cuts through like there'll be pages because I just adapted the movie pretty directly. So there will be pages where it ends up going to 3 locations on one page, and that's another one where I was like, old me would have been like, you need a page turn every time you change location, and for this I was like, nope, we'll just do
Oh,
it. And like you could add narration to say meanwhile at blah blah blah, but I was like, nope, we're not going to do that either. And so what it gives it is this kind of fun, like snappy feel where you're kind of playing catch up, and some of it might be even a little confusing, but it's kind of the fun, creepy, confusing.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I think you wanted? I think you probably wanted to be Sue, right?
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
you have a death wish or something like that.
I
But
know. I
anyway,
hope. I
No,
hope not.
lawsuits are good for a YouTube channel, right? I have
oh
learned
yeah,
this
all
in all the
right.
time I have been on.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm still a little worried about that, but I don't know. I mean, we'll just see what happens. Knock on wood. Don't tell anyone.
Don't
Right.
tell anyone.
I guess there's something called like this the is it the it's like maybe it's called the F.W. Murnau Foundation, I think it might be called, and it's in Germany. And I was about to reach out to them to like say, hey, help me promote this book. And then my buddy was like, don't, they might sue
Don't
you. And because it's
that
like,
kind of
that's what was happening with the guy, the Lord of the Rings guy, J.R.R.
uh-huh.
Tolkien Society. They like sue
Yeah.
everyone, and that's
Oh
all they
wow.
do. So they're
Oh my
stupid,
god. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually this is not your first, right? So in fact this is your what? The which what number of books is this? This is like
Oh, I
your
guess this is 3. I'm calling it the 3rd, even though
the
Earthbound,
third.
there's 2 volumes.
Ah.
But so this is kind of like the first
Mm,
Narwhal
mm,
trilogy, even though they're not connected, but this like
mm.
packets of 3, kind of like
Yeah, in
my
fact,
my first 3 books basically is
yeah.
Earthbound, Foreign Agent, and Nosferatu.
Yeah, in fact, over here you can see the Earthbound over here. Hey, how what did now it's in the store over here? So
Yeah, that's
what is
one of
this
the
picture?
it's J-Dub, I forget his name, and it's Mount Vernon
Mm-hmm,
in either Washington or Oregon, but it's right on the border.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's Mount Vernon, Mount. Anyway, he's got a store, and yeah, so I mailed him some copies for his store, and I think that all of last I heard from him, they sold out of part 1, and so that we're waiting for
Yeah,
people to come back for part 2.
yeah. In fact, I think this is the hardcover that I got.
Oh, cool! Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Eh, okay. Yeah. So this is my friend's I'll say his second the second installment of Earthbound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
Narwhal, are you going to do an omnibus of that? Like put both volumes together and try and sell them that way? Or are you
Yeah,
going to
I
keep.
should. The only thing that's making me hesitate is it's sort of like laziness, but through Mixam, I'd have to set up a whole new print file, and that would only take a day, but it's kind of stressful because you're like, oh, if I make any mistakes, and
Right.
and I have the print files for these 2 books now, so I'm like, I could just keep selling them as singles, and you got to get both or whatever. But it is like Nate reviewed it on his channel, and he mentions it's basically one story. It's not even really meant to be split up that much. One way I would describe it though is it's a little bit split up, kind of the way Kill Bill is. Like Kill Bill has volume 1 and 2, and Tarantino, he did that retroactively. Like he just read the script and he's
Hmm.
like, oh, there's a good stopping point right in the middle, which that happens to happen a lot with general story structure. You can watch any movie, there's usually a pretty good like kind of like revelation at the table turn kind of thing right at the halfway mark, and right in the middle of the rising action. And Earthbound had that too. So I was like, well, I'll just stop it here, because I wanted to try and crowdfund it. At that point, I hadn't finished the book. I was like, when should I crowdfund it? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
talking about finishing the book, is this Nosferatu finished, or is it still you're
Yeah,
still
it's
working on it?
finished. I'm still going
It's
through and
finished.
polishing like
Mm.
some stuff and adding the cool grain effect to pages, but all the art's done. And there's a version that's kind of out there publicly, even on via the sketchbooks.
Oh
I have
yes.
3 sketchbooks that were bonuses for various campaigns, and each one included 20 pages of Nosferatu. So some people have the entire Nosferatu story already. Yeah.
So basically, on the left side of the screen, you can see some of the pages that I post up. It's just a slideshow. Yeah. So this story is a silent film, right? So basically, you have to figure out all the dialogue yourself, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of it they'll give you sound cards
Uh-huh.
like
Oh,
where
okay. Yeah.
for some dialogue, but some
Mm-hmm.
of it, no, yeah, you just see people talking,
Okay.
and
So.
it's hopeful that the the audience can kind of deduce based following the context visually,
Uh-huh.
which that actually reminds me that goes a little bit with interactivity, which is like the whole kick I've been on. And I got into interactivity because I was reading a big interview with Alfred Hitchcock, and he got his start. I actually didn't really know this, but he got his start in silent films, and he kind of claims, and he was saying like everyone in film school should make a silent film before they make a sound film. Like your education should be the film history or whatever, and because he's like silent films will force you to be able to have the audience follow without even knowing what's being said. They can still follow the story, and it kind of forces you to be extra cinematic. And so there, some of that probably bleeds into the comic, but it's F.W. Murnau was a really good filmmaker. His other silent films are really good too.
You know who is good with silent film?
Who?
My son. Whenever he wants something from me, he'll just use his hands. Never tell me what is it. Want me to guess? Damn.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, he could be a good silent era actor.
My God, my God. But okay. I actually wanted to ask you, do you have like a special place to go to when you write script or things like that, such like you
Yeah, good question. I
zone
guess.
yourself out?
Yeah, I like writing first thing in the morning with a cup of coffee, and I can only usually write for 4 hours max before my brain kind of starts to hurt. And so that's kind of all I do. Although I will try and it's when I recently finished fulfilling Earthbound, and then I took a break and I was going to launch Nosferatu. And in that little break, I was like, maybe I won't work at all, but I did end up writing every morning. And so that's kind of fun if I can, because usually I'll just write one day a week because I have to keep up with all the art stuff I have to do. But when I kind of took a vacation, I was writing every day, and that was really fun and pretty productive. And I was like, I'd like to do more of that, maybe if I can going forward a little bit.
Actually, I have
My favorite like writing story or like anecdote. It's from film. It's about George Romero when he had done Night of the Living Dead, and then he had trouble getting other movies off. And then it was Dario Argento, who was super famous in Italy and made all these amazing movies like Suspiria. He called up George Romero and he's like, want to make a sequel to Night of the Living Dead? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And he's like, I'll help you fund it. We'll get the money. He's like, you don't have a script or anything? He's like, well, no. And Dario Argento's like, you can come live in my villa in Italy and write it. So George Romero went over there and lived in Italy for 6 months and wrote that movie in this epic mansion on the hills of Italy, and wrote like Dawn of the Dead. And I'm like, man, I would love to like do something like that someday, like kind of take a vacation, write a script, something like that.
Hey, actually, I have intel. You did take a vacation, Noel, and you did go somewhere else to do some writing. Let me show it to you. I do have receipt.
Oh, I'm in Hoquiam. Gotta talk quiet because I don't want anyone to overhear me. But the town is kind of what I was hoping for. It feels like an adventure. I have an adrenaline rush just walking around. It's not, I'm kind of used to this kind of stuff, but like not too different from where I'm from, but it's just kind of run down and cool. All right, I'll report more later. That's so funny. I did do that, and that was fine. But I might want to try doing that again. That's trying to capture that a little bit of that magic of like George Romero in Italy, and I'll go to this white trash town.
But we never ever hear the second part of this. You say you're gonna update us, but there's silence for days. We are like, is he dead?
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't make it.
You didn't make it. The one that's back is not Narwhal. It's not the original Narwhal.
Yeah.
It'd be like Lord Miles if he didn't update us on Twitter every 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a parody of that. That's so much cooler than what I was doing.
Yeah, and this is what we get, man.
All right, we're here with Narwhal Fitness. All right, today I'm talking about grunting. You can
Yeah. You really have to explain yourself. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So you you have been doing this for like this is like the third book. Have you ever wondered, what you'll be doing? 2018 is like the turning point for you. Have you ever wondered if things didn't work out in 2018, right? Now you're doing comic full time, right?
Yeah.
What will you be doing? Sometimes I was wondering, what actually people are doing.
Yeah, good question. I don't
Yeah.
know, because I was kind of just working, just minimum wage jobs, and trying to break into comics,
Mhm.
and so it wouldn't be pretty. So I'm really grateful that comics are working out, because basically I'd probably be pretty depressed and fat, still drinking a ton.
Well, you're still fat. Come on.
Yeah, this is my beard. Beard adds 20
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, you're just hiding your double chin. That's all. I know that.
Yeah, we can all be like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, also like don't thinking back, wow, you came a long way. Okay, but anyway, after finishing this book, right? Is there any like other future plans for like even a continuation or other kind of uh what's that word again? Some license thing, a property
Oh
that you're
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah, eventually I was thinking like if this was like one facet of stuff I
Mhm.
tried to do, I'd kind of define it as what are like it's a little experimental a little bit, but it's like what can you make of comics where it changes the medium, but it's not really you're writing a script or anything. You're like adapting, in this case, you're adapting a silent film. You
Hmm.
could be like adapting an interview or
Oh
like
yeah.
whatever else things that you can maybe adapt. And there's one I settled on after thinking about it for a while, because I
Mhm.
was thinking like maybe there will be like a spiritual sequel to this, but it won't be out for like years again. But the next one is going to be the Trial of Joan of Arc. So I bought that because you can just buy it. It's just a book, but then it's
Oh.
like all the records, because
Oh
they
yeah,
kept
yeah.
records for the whole
Okay.
thing. And you know what else about that? I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. It's awesome. That's another one where I wasn't sure. And also it's like, it's just old people yelling at her and her answering. And so I'm like, is that going to be visually interesting? But I'm pretty sure you can draw what they're talking about whenever you want to change it up.
Mm.
So you can keep it visually interesting. And there are things in that story that I had no idea that are kind of funny. Like there was at that time, the whole reason she was able to get an army at the King Charles, I think, gave her
Mhm.
an army because it was kind of like accepted in the culture that once in a while these like soothsayer women come along. So
Oh.
various women would claim to be that like that. And if they did, then you'd send them. They had like a thing they did. So they send them to get interrogated. So she got interrogated before anything. The good guys were kind of like asking her for 3 weeks. They were grilling her. And then for whatever reason, they're like, yeah, she's like kind of smart or something. And so they let her see the king, and then she kind of made it all the way up. So they give her an army. And sure enough, she like wins a bunch of battles, turns the tide of the war, gets captured by the English, and then turned back over to the bad side of the French, because there was a civil war in France at the time. So the bad French are holding her. And they're the ones who tried her for heresy and burned her at the stake. And there was a political reason, because they wanted to put egg on the King of France's face because he was the one who gave her an army. So they're like, look at this guy, he gave this crazy woman an army or whatever. So she got kind of swept up in all of that. But it's what was one thing that just came up in the trial that's funny is there was another woman who was claiming to be talking to angels, and Joan and her didn't like each other, and they had totally different messages. And Joan was like, she's like, so you see your angels at night? And she's like, yeah. And Joan's like, if I stay the night with you, will I see them too? And she's like, yeah. So Joan of Arc calls her bluff and sleeps in her bed or in the same room.
What?
And then,
Wow.
yeah, so it's like it blows your mind that this is real. So and nobody
Whoa.
knows because it's just buried in the. I mean, anyone who's not many people because it's not in any of the movie adaptations. I don't think. Where I was kind of like, why wouldn't they include that? Because that's hilarious. It's like a lot of it's almost like funny. Some of it, and so anyway, Joan of Arc, she's like, I stayed up really late, but I didn't see an angel. I fell asleep. I asked her the next morning, and she said that the angel came right after I fell asleep.
My God.
That reminds me. I read a book on the New England witch trials, not like just Salem specifically, but in general. It was funny because all these there were witch trials everywhere. The Salem ones are really famous, but there were witch trials all over New England in that time period. And there were all these judges that were trying to figure out how do you prove in court somebody is a witch? Because they didn't want to execute anyone without what they considered like legally viable proof.
Yeah.
And so there are all these like old wives' tales, like, you know, the witch's teat where the witch's familiar supposedly suckles from. And they just threw all that stuff out. And they're like, okay, basically we need witnesses that say we saw him with a demon. And that was like their category.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that in the Joan of Arc thing of like the judges, you can tell they really want to do it by the numbers because they know it's a super famous trial and she was an international like celebrity. So they knew all eyes were on them. So they were doing it really by the book. And even then there were things that are controversial about it and whatever, but it's funny that like they're just so kind of old and weird that even though they're by the book, by their eyes, they kind of are perceived as the bad guys basically.
Yeah. Okay, do it, man. Okay, so now back to our main point over here. Maybe let's just go through what you're offering over here. Anyway, I also give like $66 to this man over here.
Yeah.
Talk about
Thank
giving
you.
things to the mad woman or something like that. Come. What do you have over here?
Oh yeah, so that's the pack for everything, which is there's a soft cover with this might be the first time I've done like alternate covers, I think, but the soft cover and hardcover are different covers. The soft cover is drawn by Alejandro Mirabel, who's like super talented.
Okay.
He just got hired at id Software, and I think he's
really
so he's like not even really in CG. Really, he's kind of just like a badass artist who's out there, and
he's a Long Harbor guy, right? Is he?
Long Harbor.
Harbor? He did Long Harbor.
Yeah.
And the hardcover is one I did, and that's that like concept one of the neck kind of.
Oh, on the lady. Oh, I like the touch on the two fangs. Let me see whether it's here.
Yeah. That I was talking to a couple people, and I was like, "What does it need?" And they're like, "Fang marks." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Those are both really great covers.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, they're cool. So I think people will enjoy, and it kind of goes well with the medium too. I think like Alejandro's is great soft cover, and then for a hardcover, having a little more artsy fartsy one kind of works well.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so this is the third thing, which is this like interactivity essay, and it's like pretty thick. It's 140 pages. Kind of double spaced, so you can still read it in like a couple hours. But
and you're
and that's just like all the nonfiction essay about storytelling tricks of the trade kind of thing.
And you're also using Winnie the Pooh.
Because he's public domain. So I was like, and the other thing that's kind of funny is I forget what it's called now, but it's with the interactivity. A big part of it is like it's like Eisenstein, I think is his name. These like German filmmakers, and there was a guy before him, and they were figuring out. They called it montage, but they were kind of inventing editing, and they were
Ah.
inventing how juxtaposing images, they can be the same image, but because of the context, the meaning changes. And so there was like this famous image of a guy, three faces, they're all identical, and then one is him looking at a woman, one is him looking at a girl in a coffin, and one is him looking at a plate of food. And they're like, notice that his face is identical, but each time the audience imbues a different meaning on it. And I'm like, oh, that's like in a nutshell, that's kind of what interactivity is like building up context to get these meanings. And so that's what the cover is, but it's Winnie the Pooh version of that. If you hold it like this,
Oh, okay.
it's like it's three Winnie the Poohs, and he's looking at what is it? Honey on one, Piglet in a coffin on one, and then Tigger on a couch in one.
You are.
Wow.
Oh my god. No, well, okay. You have to explain everything next time. We'll go through the book. The second one is just the soft cover itself. So if you just
I just want to take a break to note that Narwhal mentioned being worried about copyright as regards Nosferatu, but not the Disney-owned.
Oh yeah.
Who cares about?
Yeah.
Who cares about the big company? Come on.
That's right. We got to worry about the German guys.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my
I'm playing with fire.
No, as long as you didn't put the shirt on him, because the shirt is the Disney character.
That's what I heard. And I saw some of the old art, and I even kind of made sure I used those designs and not the Disney designs and stuff.
Yeah, you can just put the pants on and forget about the shirt. Yeah.
Right. It's actually probably safer that way.
Yeah.
All right. Second one is a soft cover. Third one is the NOSFERATU. This one is a soft cover plus the interactive, right? The 35. Yeah. And then we have the hardcover, and then we have the hardcover plus interactive. Yeah.
So simple, real simple campaign.
Yeah.
Only 3 items, really, in a couple different combinations.
So now it's already this is SGD, $35,000 SGD, 495. Oof.
Cool. Oh yeah, close to 500. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in USD, it's like 25,000, getting close to 26,000. That's funny. Changing the denomination and seeing the number go up is kind of funny.
There's one that will definitely guarantee $1 million.
Yeah.
I forgot which one, but there's one that is almost guaranteed to be.
I could get 6 figures finally. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Right. So, oh my God. Yeah. So this is like really, we came a long way. All right, man. But what was this? Who drew this?
This is so I got a buddy named Jared who's not really in comics. He's kind of, but he's friendly or not scared of it or anything. But he's just kind of not that public really. But I met him in Iowa years ago when I lived in Iowa. I kind of tried to make friends by walking to the college campus, and they had like a video game club that I'd go to, and they had an anime club that I'd go to. And I met Jared at the video game club, but it was like to make video games. So it's kind of fun. We'd all just mess around. And we do like, Jared organized them, I think, but we do 24-hour comic jam sessions. Once in a while, we did a couple of those. And he's kind of like artsy fartsy, but he's like a savant, he's like a really good musician. He has really good design sense. So I use him for like logos and stuff. And he and I are working on a bigger project together. But yeah, so he's doing one of the pinups for this.
Nice. By the way, now English is not my strongest. So what is actually a savant?
Oh, I think it's like when we're like, it's a short, the way I use it is like, it means you're like a genius, but you're not like you're not like Sherlock Holmes. You're like kind of like sometimes they say an idiot savant, like they can't explain it. Like someone could be like confusing to people, like kind of socially awkward, but really smart, something like that.
Yeah, I think the really smart part, probably I'm a savant then.
Yeah. We're all, everyone here.
Oh my God.
Everyone here is probably.
You guys are too slow. You guys are too slow. Not my level.
I think
Yeah.
part of being a savant too is like you're not smart about a bunch of things. It's just like one
Uh-huh.
narrow little thing.
Oh yeah, that's an important part of it, and
Okay. Okay.
that applies
Okay.
to.
Then that's Nawa, not me. I'm good at
Okay.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it. So that's Nawa. Okay. Not me. All right, man. Okay. What else I want to talk about over here? So this thing is all done. So you're going to like once is it going to like kind of like once the campaign is done, are you going to like go for more extension or anything, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think I'll probably do a full 60 days
60 days? Yeah.
crowdfunding, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe even
Yeah.
a little bit in demand, but pretty much just cut it off
Mm-hmm.
and fulfill it like
Mm-hmm.
around in May and June. I want to have it out to
Mm.
people.
Mm.
That's what
Are
the
you going?
campaign says too.
Mm.
But
Are you going to give yourself a little break after this because you have been like working on stuff for almost like I think 2 years? Can I
yeah,
say
so
2 years nonstop?
I have like a problem. I got to fit. I think there's ways to figure. COVID was
Uh,
making it a little harder too. But
uh-huh.
like when I finished Earthbound, fulfilled it. That was a huge, like like weight off my shoulders
Mm.
or whatever. And I was like, I need to take a break. And then so I wake up in the morning and I'm like, all right, what should I do? What should I do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm bored. And then I'll end up working a little bit. I'm like, damn, it happened again. And I'm like, so what can I do? I think if I actually went somewhere like an actual vacation,
Uh-huh.
and I guess I need to get hobbies or meet a girl or something,
Hey, I just have an idea now. Actually, you should just go and find a simple part-time job and any weird part-time job and just go for a month or so. Just go and observe people in their
Yeah,
job. In their
I know I do want to kind of, because that's one thing with being an artist is I just work at home and I don't get
uh-huh.
to really get out there much. And
Yeah.
so I have thought about that. And even COVID even kind of messed that up because they won't hire you unless
Yeah.
you're vaccinated or whatever. But that's
Uh-huh.
all hopefully kind of going away a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'll
Then
be
you can secretly film it and then we'll post it on YouTube called the Secret Savant, like the secret boss.
yeah, yeah. And it's the guy who's like, he's terrible at the job, and everyone's like,
Terrible.
why are you so bad at this job? And he's like, you don't know that I'm a savant.
I can draw.
Yeah. Well, I may suck at this job, but I'm good at something else. So
Then the end of the last day of job, then you drive, we hire limousine and everything. Then we give them each a comic book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you should go do some part time and observe. Sometimes I also feel like maybe I should go and find some part time job and
Yeah.
observe people.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
something. I was thinking about buying a moped and just becoming a moped guy, but I don't know how much time that takes, really.
Hmm? Okay. Man. Okay, let's watch the new trailer because I think you prepared a new trailer of NOSFERATU. So
Yeah, but it
let's
might not be on the page.
Oh,
But
I
it's on
have
my.
it, man. Come
Okay.
on, I'm prepared. Who do you think you're talking to, huh, Noel?
Nice. Yeah, Shanth and Jetty did that one. He's got a book called NOSFERATU. Have you guys seen that one where he's painting it?
Oh
It's really
yes,
cool.
yes. I back that too. The
Yeah,
watercolor kind of on a kind of a texture feel kind of paper, right?
yeah. And I commissioned him for a
Yeah.
little NOSFERATU
Mm-mm.
painting too. So
Actually,
he's going to contribute to that.
yeah, I think I told you before. I'm not familiar with this NOSFERATU kind of character. what can we like? Is it going to be spoiler? You tell us a little bit on the, the original film. What was the kind of main arc about it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's like Dracula, but it's
Uh-huh.
Murnau changing it in like German weird
But is
expressionism
there
where
like an origin story that how he become that? Or
no, he's just a really old vampire is kind of
oh,
the idea. But
uh-huh.
yeah, and I think with his specific lore, he's a little
Mm.
bit more associated with being ancient than Dracula is. But they're
Oh,
like the same. It's usually the same story they're featured in, where Jonathan Harker is called across the mountains for a real estate deal. And with Nosferatu, there's a little more like they call it German expressionism, but it's like he looks like a monster, but Jonathan Harker doesn't react to him like he's a monster. So
uh-huh.
it's like, is he under his spell? Is he seeing what we're seeing? Who's seeing what? Like all that stuff is really fun. That's not in just the Dracula story. Um,
Huh?
and yeah, I don't know what else. Oh, I was gonna say, me and Nate, we wrote a. It's not really an origin, but it's like a prequel. It's called Tomb of Nosferatu, and that'll
Uh-huh.
eventually be a comic that I'll put out. That'll just be a little bit of a companion piece to this, but that's more of an adventure, and it takes place in the Middle Ages, where
Oh,
Nosferatu is like doing a little something different, not just hanging in a castle, kind of.
hanging in the castle.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, because I saw that he's the meaning of it is like a flying bird of the night. Bird of the night.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he
Yeah,
does he
that's I feel
transform?
like that's kinda like
Yeah.
Murnau too. Murnau
Mm.
just being weird and being cool.
So he's like also transform or something like that, no? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I it's a little bit unclear what his powers are, but
Mm.
they're
Mm.
similar to Dracula's. Like
Mm.
he can kinda hypnotize people. He can turn into animals
So what
and
was this lady how is like the involvement kind of?
yeah, that's Jonathan Harker's wife. So the
Okay.
story, it has a fun story structure that I was talking to someone and they're saying it's kind of like a horror trope, tried and true almost, but it's where the main who you think is the main character ends up kind of getting screwed, and then it's a different main character after that point. So it's a little bit of the flip or like tricking the audience. And
Mm-hmm.
this story does that. So she's the main character for the whole second half of the story, and
Oh.
that's kind of part of the fun of the story, basically.
Mm, 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 mm. Okay. So this is the lady, right? Kind of creepy.
Yeah,
Hmm. All right. Yeah. So I think that's more or less I want to get out of you. Okay. Although I still have the suspicion that you're not the same Narwhal anymore because of this.
I'm in Hoquiam.
Yeah.
you got
So
kidnapped
I'll
over
I'll be keeping an eye on
crowdfunding.
you to see that you act differently or you're trying to hide something like with your beard. No, the
Yeah,
Narwhal
yeah.
I know is a little bit more flabby and a little more chubby. So, yeah, you look too fit for him, man.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, do you guys want to see something just random that I was working on today in
Yes,
Blender?
yes, of course, of course.
I posted one
Okay, let me see.
on Twitter, but is it
Okay.
coming up? Yeah. So
All right.
I kept messing with it. So this is different than what's on Twitter, but I think I just double click it, and this doesn't
Oh,
have
the
music.
animation, yes. Yes.
Yeah, but it's
The
like just a little ship guy. Woo, woo, boosting. Whoosh.
Where is it? Hey, are you showing it? We just see the
Yeah, we just
Oh
see your
shoot! Dang
Explorer
it!
window.
Good
uh,
call. Good call. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
oh my god.
How do I do this?
Yeah. Yup. Oh
There
my
it is.
god, what are you showing now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
I think it's this one.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay.
Woo!
What the?
Woo!
Okay.
Woo!
Okay, I think you need help.
Woo! The end.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yep. Our friend needs help. All right.
It needs music, otherwise, because then when
Either
it's
he,
silent, I just have to go woo.
You need to get that
either
the Death Star Trench Run soundtrack and put it over that.
Yeah, yeah. That's like definitely what it's kind of like. But I like it's like I got these with I've been exploring Blender a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
there's certain things that you can animate like easy, I guess, and some things are hard and super complicated. But one of them is like the trench run. You're like, oh, that's actually really easy to do. So
Oh,
maybe I'll try and
okay.
do that.
Hmm. So any plans for like I know you use Blender for some of the background as well, experimental kind of more experimental type of layout kind of stuff. But or you just having fun with it.
Yeah, the more I learn, I slowly pick up
Mm.
stuff, and eventually, I don't know when, but I do want to try and do some animation.
Ui.
Um,
Mm.
and yeah, we'll see like even exactly how that works, like if I could crowdfund it and I might have to put aside all the comic stuff and maybe it'd be weird. It'd be like a midlife crisis kind of thing, like work full time on it for a
Oh,
year and
yeah.
maybe
I
get
want
5 minutes done or
yeah.
something. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. Just now, where exactly are you again? Because your background always changes. It's like from a cottage to some
Yeah.
small white apartment, and then for some prison cell kind of thing, and now it's like a one lamp, and behind is like boxes. Where the hell are you now?
Yeah. I'm at my buddy's in Squim, which is or just in Washington State, but it's his extra room.
My God,
And
just how many buddies you have? You always say that you're with buddies. I'm thinking like maybe you have done something to your buddy and then you have to move away and
yeah,
like eating them up,
yeah. No, I have less buddies
because
cause
you
of
ate them, right?
well, yeah, because of like
Yeah.
COVID and Trump and
Oh, okay.
everything, and I've
Uh,
been like, just some of my buddies are like, I would have thought they're my buddies, and then they're just like, "Why don't you
oh,
get the vaccine?" And I was like,
oh,
"Leave me alone."
oh, oh,
Yeah.
okay. You can come and stay with me if you fly all the way to Singapore.
Yeah. No, that could be one of my vacations. I'm into it.
Okay, I take my word back. I don't want you.
Yeah, I already bought my ticket.
Oh no, I'm gonna hide.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
do you want to know a secret, Tungsten?
Yeah.
If you look very carefully at the light around the left side of Narwhal's head, there you can see that slight green tinge. That tells you he's actually in front of a green screen.
What?
No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
that's
Yeah.
I'm
funny.
kidding.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Noel.
Shoo,
My
shoo.
suspicion has just upped the level.
It hurts your
He-
eyes to look right at the light,
Oh my
even
God.
though it's not
He's
really
trying to use the NOSFERATU trick. My God. Okay, this we need some investigation offline. I'm gonna send my troops, my guys, the drone, everything, all I have. Gonna send it there. Okay, I'm doing triangulate on your location now. Well, you can't escape. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You'll never
All
find
right.
me.
I'll never find you. Oh, come on. It's too easy now. Well, it's too easy. Don't
You-
tempt me. Don't tempt me.
You'll drone strike me with a nerf drone.
Nah. Don't do that. I won't do that. I won't do that. All right, man. I think that's all we have. Let's wrap it up. Right. So yeah. So please support my friend. The link is in the description. So this is like actually it's his sixth campaign, but this is like the third kind of his big installment of his graphic novel. Yeah. So if you have the time, check it out. Share and if you can back the book as well. Yeah. So yeah. Anything else to say, guys? If not, I
No,
will.
but yeah, good to see you guys again. It's been a while since we've streamed.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
stream again and goof around in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I'll share with you. Basically, I'm thinking like we for our project, the model project. I look at the books that we kind of the layout that we lay out for the writing. Then I realized there's these two characters that we always kind of didn't have the opportunity to explore. Quick and quiet. Right. So I'm thinking maybe we can write a very, very short kind of 12-page story for them, just for them. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
We can get Nate to do it or just
Yeah.
just explore who they are. Maybe they are the Romeo and Juliet of modern or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I I don't know. Yeah, gonna leave it to you guys. Yeah, and I'm just gonna chill at the at the side as usual.
Yeah, cool.
Bring out my whip and whip y'all. And yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's all. I also put the link to Nate's link, I think, to his blog and all in the description as usual. So thanks for watching. I think I'll end the broadcast. Hold
All
on.
right.
I'll end it
Bye,
now.
everyone.
Cool.